After a few years of a stale offense, lackluster performance, wasting talented players' eligibility because of this lackluster performance, the question has become front and center. How will Clemson's offense be this 2023 season? Hey, before I go any farther, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Brian. I'm not Bobby Durkins, at least not here. If you don't know who Bobby Durkins is, just go type in Bobby Durkins in YouTube and brace yourself. But if you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and I appreciate you being here. Over the past 2 years, I have really went after Clemson, namely their offense, and why Dabo Swinney, the best thing that's ever happened to Clemson other than the Tiger Paw, would allow it to happen. He set the expectation that winning 10 games and getting to the ACC championship was not the goal. It was just part of the journey to winning a national championship. And then all of a sudden we're digressing. And I was like, oh no, has he become complacent? And we know what he did. He fired Brandon Streeter. He fired Brandon Streeter after 1 year. But until he did that, I felt like this.
We're at the threshold of hell.
Yeah, Clark said it well. Every game was a bore fest, a snore fest, annoying. The question's been with the offensive line. Why don't we recruit better offensive linemen? And then you go, doof. I remember in the recruiting cycle with Will Shipley, he was not the highest rated player we recruited. Tristan Lee, the offensive lineman out of Fairfax, Virginia, was the highest rated player. Walker Parks was another big. So we're all sitting here going, when is this going to be fixed? But he hired Garrett. DJ has moved on to the West Coast. So what is the news coming out from yes, Grafnar, I am serious. What is the news that we're hearing so far? So far, coming out of fall camp from different sources, Klubnik is running the show confidently. He's comfortable. He is being the quarterback. He's being specific. He's not allowing little petty things to happen with the offense. He's taking control. Dabo threw the keys to the car to him and said, drive this thing. We need someone to take control. Clemson's used to great quarterback play. This crap that we've seen over the past few years, we're not used to that. That's the reason every one of us was itching and clawing our skin as though we were some type of addict needing a fix. We needed the fix. And what was that fix? Better quarterback play. And let's not put this all on DJ. Better offensive coordinating. And I include especially that last year that Tony was there. I could care less how many Broyles awards that he has. I could care less, because I will not stop saying this because it's the truth. History proves me right. When Jeff Scott left, something happened. Oh, Jeff wasn't calling the plays, you idiot. He was doing something right. Because Tony, something happened to Tony. I don't know. God help us. Whatever happened, it happened. It was crazy. Cade Klubnik is running things. He's taking control of the offense. He's calling the shots, folks. That's what you need in a quarterback. Have you ever met a surgeon? Like an actual surgeon. I'm not talking about your no offense to any, just non-surgeon doctors, but I'm talking about a surgeon. A lot of those guys are annoyingly cocky. I know, man, what a jerk, until it comes time for them to operate on you. I want the most confident person in the world to operate on me. I don't want someone to come in and it's like, oh, I've heard you're a good surgeon. I'm okay. Now let me operate on your brain. No, I don't want that. Now, I don't want a cocky jerk. I admit that. But with a quarterback, I need somebody when he walks out there, it's all business. He doesn't have to showboat it. Remember Deshaun Watson? Deshaun was calm as a cucumber, chill. But it was just like, yeah, we're good. We're going to do this. We're going to deliver. And he did. So you don't have to be all hyped up, but everybody has their style. So coming out of camp right now, Cade is looking comfortable. Garrett Riley's got him comfortable. He's making him feel like you own this thing because, listen, he does. Chase Henderson, you are very confident, but in a good way. Nothing bad. I did not mean anything bad towards anyone, Chase. He'll text me about that later. Let's move on. Let's move on to the running backs. The running backs is exactly what we thought they were going to be. This running back room, I hope they are fully implemented. You go, Brian, what do you mean fully implemented? It's going to be Will Shipley and it's going to be Maffa. Let me tell you this. A Will Shipley with only 13 or 14 carries, but he's healthy. And it's split with Maffa. And then it's split with Dominique Thomas, Quadzilla, the guy who showed out in spring practice. And even with Keith Adams Jr. You say, what about the reps for Shipley? My point is he doesn't have to be beat up. In game 6 of the season, he's basically fresh and he still has killer yardage. Why? Because you can split it up amongst these backs and it's just like it's a fresh body moving in. The defense is getting worn down. It's like, oh crap, I've got to tackle this guy who's fresh. Shipley, Maffa, Dominique Thomas, Keith Adams Jr. They're looking good. Now let's talk about the wide receivers. Bo Collins and Adam Randall, as well as Troy Stellato Jr., has just been riddled with issues. Now, Bo has been able to play through a lot of his. When you tear an ACL or something in your knee like Randall and Stellato, you can't go out there and play, folks. I know Deshaun did that one time, but it was a different type of tear, and they still casted up his knee just enough to beat South Carolina, which, God, that lives in infamy. Anyway, staying on track. I can't help but laugh about that. Adam Randall is seemingly healthy. Stellato is seemingly healthy. I say that because this video is on August the 15th. It's a Tuesday night. They could be walking downtown, going into TD, spit some mad game to the hostess, have a burger. One of them sit down wrong, tear their knee up. These Adam Randall and Stellato, and I'm not making fun of them. They have some of the worst luck in the history of man when it comes to athletes. They are, I mean, just I think one of these guys could hiccup hard and pull their back out of place. It's just there's some people who Derrick Rose, and I'm not a big NBA guy, but had Derrick Rose been healthy, you're looking at one of the best basketball players to play in the NBA in the past 20 years. But he couldn't stay healthy. He was always hampered. I'm hoping that Adam Randall is getting over this. I'm hoping that Troy Stellato, who is a beast that's fast, can get out of this, and that Bo Collins can finally be 100% to where he's not having to play with a limp. And that guy still put on a clinic. Antonio Williams, Everyone is saying that he, from just becoming stronger to just being more acclimated to the college game, he has 1 year under his belt, and what a year he had. True freshman out of Irmo, South Carolina. Only good thing about I-26, or about Columbia, is I-26 going west towards Clemson, or east going towards the beach. So you can't blame him for wanting to leave there. Did you notice I just named out 4 guys? I just named out 4 guys who can play. The big thing is if they can stay healthy. If they can stay healthy. And then I'm hearing about this kid. He's out of the Greenville, South Carolina area. He's at Greenville High School. He's a true freshman, Tyler Brown. This guy can move. Now he's a smaller body. He's, under 6 foot tall. He's kind of thin. That doesn't matter. As long as you can play, you can go up and catch the ball, and you can we can put some weight on you, but you can go out there and play. This guy is looking good. We need as many people in the rotation to be a problem when they walk out on the field. And we need some of these more senior, experienced players to come out there and take some of the pressure off of, say, a Tyler Brown or a Troy Stellato, to where people are focusing on them so much to where the Stellatos and the Tyler Browns, they get open. That's how that normally works. And you're like, what the crap? I thought that we could overlook this kid. That's what, a 3-star coming out of high school. We're focused on Bo Collins. We're focusing on Antonio Williams. Can't forget the 6'6" Jake Brennan still coming across the middle, who, by the way, is having a fantastic camp. Everybody's talking about just how he's really seen, whether he's a tight end or not, he's one of the top receivers on the team. If you want, I'm going to tell you right now, if I had to throw the ball up to someone on the team, and you said you have to make the decision now, name the first name, Jake Brennan still. He's big. He goes up and possesses the ball. He wants that ball. He's not going to wait for it to come to him. He's going to use his big body to spread out like a giant X and then wrap it in. Good luck on covering it. Just saw Chase Henderson's last comment. Yeah, I'll definitely hear from you. In fact, I'm checking my phone to see if you text me. Tiger Paul Craven's in here. I was supposed to get together with Tiger Paul Craven and Jordan Bowman tonight, but unfortunately, we had a time schedule kind of mix up. But Tiger Paul Craven and Jordan Bowman will be coming on the show. We're going to talk Clemson football, some of my favorite people, and they're doing a great job in the Clemson YouTube world. So we'll definitely get that scheduled out probably next week. Pigskin Pete's coming on Thursday. That's right. And if you wasn't watching just a second ago, I had one of the biggest Vols and one of the biggest upcoming YouTubers on my channel, Sports Talk J, John Chapman out of the Knoxville area. He's fantastic people. He talked about the Vols, and we just opened up with Joe Milton. Is he, the thumbnail says, leader or letdown? So we'll see about that. Now, the offensive line, as I mentioned just a second ago, and then I'm going to close this thing down. The offensive line has been a big question for me, because I actually go back to recruiting. Now, do we have some 5-star offensive linemen, like all across the board? Do we have? I don't. Maybe not, but our talent is not that bad, folks. Our talent on the offensive line, by rating coming out of high school, and I know somebody's going, stars don't matter. Tell Alabama that. Tell Georgia that. You want to know why they're so good? It's because to them, stars matter. They're not waiting for a Hunter Renfrow to come in. They're waiting for Devontae Smith and Waddle and Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy. And they were not one-star players. They matter. Yeah, some of them aren't going to pan out, but they matter. Mr. U Madbra, one of the original Bobby Durkins. I'm talking about one of the very first is on here. It is good to see you here. Paul Warren, big Tennessee fan. What's up? It's just that time to kick off the season, and Clemson is ranked higher than us. Paul. Mike Talley, I'm optimistic. Things have been terrible on offense, but maybe we get the wheels back on the car this year. That's a great analysis. And I'll tell you why it matters. You can have a Ferrari. You can have a Ferrari and just have a spare tire on, and the rest of them be regular tires, and your car's not going to run right. You might as well be driving a 1992 Corolla. You know, nothing against that, but I'm just saying I wouldn't pay $500,000 for it. And that's what we've seen with Clemson. We've seen wasted. When I look at Joseph Ngata, I see a waste. Not about him personally. I'm just saying that was talent that was wasted. What went on with Justin Ross, that Justin Ross would just end up leaving? That was a waste of talent. Lynn J. Dixon, that was a waste of talent. Something went on there. That was a waste of talent. And to see E.J. Williams fall apart, that was a waste of talent. But going back to offensive line, our offensive lineman at this point, unless something crazy happens, is Tristan Lee, Marcus Tate, Will Putnam, who's been around for umpteen years, Walker Parks. That guy was a 4-star coming out of high school. And Blake Miller. We did not recruit chump change when we brought these guys in. And I've even messed up and said that. But have we got one of those massive, massive players that maybe Alabama or Ohio State has garnered? No. I mean, what's that guy? He's down there he's a true freshman going to start for Alabama. He's 6'7", 345 pounds. I mean, he's just Goliath on the line. But I'm telling you, we are not working with some empty cupboard when it comes to offensive line. So here's what I think, and I've talked about this on other videos, and I'm going to shut this down, and some of you, please keep commenting in here. And by the way, if you look below the video, you might see the join tab. If you do not see the join button, just to let you know that you can actually join the Not Bobby Durkins channel. You want to support it. It's $4.99 per month. If it's not down there, I'm working on getting that up there. It should be there. Also, that would be a good way to support the channel. I just went totally blank there, so I'm sorry. You should make fun of me for that. And here's a little lighthearted something. Hope that helps. When it comes to offensive line, I believe that the offensive scheme is definitely being challenged, or the offensive scheme is challenging the offensive line to step it up. It can alleviate some of the pressure on the offensive line. But I think that the offensive line is actually, because of scheme, but most importantly, because they have a solid quarterback who's going to make mistakes, but because they've had so many people questioning them as a unit and individually. You can only take so much of that. And I'm going to tell you this. You're either going to fold like a lawn chair, or you're going to step up and be a man and say, look, I'm more than just some oversized human being that can lift a lot of weights. I can actually cause some harm. Sometimes being put down and having to be downtrodden and having to hear bad things about yourself, sometimes that separates the wheat from the tare, the goats from the sheep. Tiger Paul Craven says the offensive line has the potential to be the strength this year, and we'll only lose Will Putnam after this season. Folks, we could be at a turning point right now with this team. And everybody wants to come along and say, well, Garrett Riley, if Garrett Riley does great, somebody's going to come. Yes, they're going to come along. They're going to offer him a lot of money. Which, by the way, y'all need to go on my South Carolina video that I did last week and see how many Gamecocks. Now, I have a lot of Gamecocks that were like, I can't believe that you gave us such a good, fair assessment of our team. And I told them that I would. Graffner in here with tough love. We got Parker Henderson. Look, both Henderson sisters on here. Chase talks to himself in the mirror. You should see a doctor about that. What I was going to say about South Carolina, go read all my comment section on how many, they complimented it, but go read and see how many South Carolina fans is telling me that Shane Beamer is not going to leave South Carolina if someone comes along. Folks, if Garrett Riley does amazing this year, and I think he will, I wouldn't be shocked if he's gone after the first season and he takes some job making more money. That is the name of the game these days. I did that out of order on purpose. Folks, coming back to Clemson and closing the video. I feel like we are at a new chapter in a good way, not a bad way. My comments, I'm not even putting that up, Parker. I'm not putting that up. Our team is at a BCAD moment in the program. Okay? We had the moment where we dominated. We had 2 out of 3 years to where you couldn't beat us. Might have been an upset, but when it came time for us to play a big game, you didn't beat us. You didn't beat Clemson when Deshaun Watson was there the last year. Okay. Pitt got lucky. They won. But you know what? Didn't keep us out of the national championship. Clemson went on a crazy streak, beat the crap out of South Carolina, beat the crap out of so many people. Paul Warren's trolling us. Paul, good job on trolling us. Hey, you deserve that. You deserve that win. When our OC couldn't call a better game than that, I'm sorry. And it wasn't Cade, it was him. But folks, I'm gonna tell you this. You couldn't beat us then. If you're a big team, you couldn't beat us. 2 years later, Trevor Lawrence beats the crap out of you. Trevor Lawrence takes over and he's a problem. Became our first overall pick in the history of our school. But that started fading. And transparently, the past 2 years, I'll even count the last year that Trevor was there, not because of Trevor, not because of ETN, not because of Higgins, but because of the OC. I'm calling him. I'm calling it. Some of you are going to disagree with me. I'm sorry. Tony had become complacent. When you get into a big ball game and you're playing against good talent, great talent, and you have great offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators in this sense, they are going to out-scheme you, and that's exactly what they did to Tony, and it showed. Tony looked lost. Tony looked ill-prepared. Tony looked like he didn't care anymore. It was like, I can call quarterback nil, and between Travis, Trevor, and T, they're going to turn it into at least a 20-yard game. Quarterback nil. He'll turn it into something magical. And we know what happened the past few years. But I am telling you, folks, I believe that Clemson has turned the chapter. I'm not promising you a national championship this year. I think a return to the playoffs is very possible for Clemson based on the talent that they have on the sidelines and on the field. So I'm very excited. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. I'm just hoping everyone can stay healthy. Folks, look, please pass the video along in your circles. Let everybody know about it if you like what you're hearing today. I do appreciate it. Once again, subscribe if you have not subscribed. Got 53 people in here. It's good to see. Tuesday night, got 53 people on a itty-bitty channel like mine. Thank you for hopping over here, and thank you for all the kind comments, even the jabs and the good, clean fun. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the thumbs up, folks. It is so good to talk to you. As always, go Tigers.